Teachers, week 25, life cycles, second grade. Going to do a little activity due to testing. You're going to have to work in your rooms this week. So I provided you with a little game format. But we're also going to incorporate some graphs. We're going to sort of transition our lab from strictly science to a STEM lab that incorporates science, math, engineering, and technology. So we're going to take our life cycles and we're going to do some graphing and math with it. I got this little idea off the internet. I've made these little spinners for you. You'd be able to lay these on your overhead and project the spins for the kids. And then they're going to have this little graphing worksheet. And what they do every time, let me lay a little spinner down here. Make sure I'm in the camera. I'm going to lay my little plastic spinner down there. Take a spin. It landed on the full adult chicken. So I'm going to color in one box right here. And let's talk a little bit about doing this graph because we want our kids off on the right foot on graphing. You know, without good explanation, the kids might start their graph and graph downwards, which if you start teaching them to graph downwards when they have to do a bar graph, which is upwards, they might get confused. So let's teach them to start graphing from the bottom to the top rather than the other way around. And you have 10 boxes here. So I said, why don't you do 10 spins, which should give you enough data to put in a bar graph. So you spin, get this back in the picture. Do 10 spins on your overhead, whatever it lands on. The chicken's sitting on the nest. Right here you'd graph in one box. Now this does explain the life cycle of the chicken right here. Egg in the nest, so the chicken laid the egg in the nest, and the only way it's going to hatch is the chicken. The hen has to sit on it and hatch those eggs out. And then this is the little chick hatching out. Grows into a baby chicken. And then eventually grows into an adult chicken. So this kind of tells them the life cycle right here. They may have a lot of questions for you about the eggs in the grocery store versus the eggs you can hatch out, which you cannot hatch out the eggs in the grocery store because they've not been fertilized. Only like homegrown eggs with a rooster can be fertilized. So there's a little confusion there on this life cycle. I really think that putting a chicken in second grade is kind of a mistake. I think you should start with something they can actually see easily, such as insects or the butterflies or the frogs. But I went ahead and picked chickens because we need some exposure to it in case they come across a test question on chicken life cycle. And then you fill in your bar graph, what's their totals. Good way to, make sure the kids, this is important skill also when we get to the upper grades, that when you're coloring in these blocks, it's not correct to scratch up over the top of the answer. So I drew lines with my pencil and said, okay, this is what the block is. It's a concrete number, 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't scratch up here into this block. And then you have some little math questions over here from the data that they collected. They've got the life cycle of the chicken. They've got a bar graph. They've got some good data that they collected that they can answer here. Little fun activity on learning the life cycle of a chicken.